What is up, everybody? Ace here, and I'm back on the JFS, watching my Strider, uh, you know, doing his thing. I have no plans for this episode, but I do have updates. So, been working up here a little bit more. I can show that off, and I guess we can do our usual run of to Shop Town, and then I guess we're gonna go to the Ender, or maybe we could, I don't know, do something else. I'm not sure. Yeah. So, a couple things to talk about. One major thing to update on. Well, major in terms of, this is what I've been working on. One big thing to mention. I gotta bring it up so I can read it off of Discord. That is the fact that UHC Season 27 it has been scheduled, and it looks like my desktop's not... Okay, there it is. I was gonna say. So, it's gonna happen. We're gonna record it on September the 5th, with the 12th being the first alternative. Those two dates were tied, so tiebreaker is usually the earlier of the two, or earlier of any that are tied. So yeah, we're going to be doing random teams of 3, and the current gimmick that we have scheduled is cities. However, last time we tried to do cities, I think we were going to do it for Season 23, but the mod to have cities wasn't working, and there was no workaround for it. I don't think it was updated, is what the problem was. So yeah. So hopefully we get to do it this time. But if not, then I assume we'll just have a regular UHC. So either way, I have a crown to defend. I'm not really sure how it's going to go this time. I will most likely be back on my desktop. It's kind of in an awkward state where it was blue screening for a while. It's kind of in this... It's kind of settled down recently, so maybe it won't. But who knows? If I do have crashing issues, maybe I'll switch to... Maybe I'll do it on my laptop instead. My problem with that is just how much of a pain it is to get that one going the way I want it to, so yeah. Those are all the main stuff. There were some talks about potential changes in the future in terms of, like, Eternal Day and the world border and stuff like that. This just talks about things that we might be looking to change in the future, because always looking to make it as exciting of a UHC as possible. And so we might see maybe War Border that takes a little bit longer. Maybe Eternal Day comes on later. Those are kind of the ideas in mind. Now, anything that extends the UHC for me is good for me, because I like a nice long UHC, as long as there's like stuff going on, like a season 12 kind of season. But yeah, so that's the big update going on. The other one is a real life update. It's actually a good thing. Couple good things have happened IRL. And so, here to talk about them. The first big thing was the one I mentioned last episode that I decided I wanted to do later, and that is, got a car. I have a 2003 Ford Explorer, and I'm getting it registered this coming Wednesday. And then I just have to hope it passes an inspection. So, those are that's the plan for the moment. It's got 4x4, good 4-wheel drive, sunroof. It actually has a custom radio with an auxiliary port, so I can listen to my own music. They included a Bluetooth hookup too, but I haven't quite figured out how to get that going. And so, in the event that I can't figure that thing out, then I'll just use the auxiliary port, because I still have the cable for that. So that's not that big of a deal. But yeah, once I get it registered, once I get it to pass inspection, then I will be able to, do some driving again, which will be nice. Because it's been a while. Like, I've been driving, quote unquote, commuting to the grocery store and back, and things like that. But in terms of being able to go explore and see other places and things like that, it's been something that I haven't really been able to do. Partially because I have a dog now, but he's getting older and a lot more well behaved. Like right now, he's just laying on the bed, chewing on his chew bone. But yeah, because of that stuff, I am more comfortable going for drives and such. And with an Explorer, with a new car, I am now actually able to, because my aunt's car needs some work, and we're actually going to get that done probably tomorrow. And she needs to get her car registered as well. But yeah, we're going to be doing that at the same time. So, and then this Saturday, we're going to try to clean up the house some more. We're either going to get a dumpster, or what's probably more likely to happen is we're going to have a friend of my aunt's come along with his truck and trailer and just haul off a bunch of junk to the dump. And yeah, so that'll take care of a lot of cleanup stuff. So yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to have a car. I'm just hoping that it, passes inspection and all. This is the division area. Of course, I have all. Okay, this isn't. This is a place to just fill in by the looks of it. Cool. Just do a little bit of that, I guess, while I'm here. What else is going on? So, the government's been a mess, as usual, with the unemployment stuff. They apparently didn't come to an agreement before going away on their month-long vacation, while the rest of us are, dealing with the pandemic. They're going to be away till Labor Day, and so the president has taken it upon himself to sign some executive orders to get some things going. So the unemployment stimulus is going to continue until the end of the year, but at $400 a week instead of $600, which is kind of the important thing for me because I am currently unemployed due to not wanting to work in the middle of a pandemic. So yeah, that'll be good. It's not the 600, but I'm not complaining too much. And it continues till the end of the year. Now, my unemployment in itself is supposed to run until October, so I technically only have a couple months left of that. So if I want to get the final 2 months worth, I guess, I have to see if I can get it extended. and I'm not sure how that will work yet. Yeah, so yeah, you know what to see. But it is a step in the right direction because this week I had just the unemployment check without the stimulus. So, but I think starting next week the stimulus will kick back in. So, should be good. Should be all set. I can continue to, you know, not work, I guess. So, kind of all the stuff I have to talk about. It's only been 11 minutes. Yeah, that's everything. It's kind of all the main stuff. I just didn't talk about future concerns. Because big talk between my aunt and I is selling the house and what will happen afterwards. Because the house belongs to my late grandmother, and she never signed the house over to my aunt. So it still technically belongs to my grandmother, and we have to have it sold. Now, there is no timeline yet for when it's supposed to be sold. So right now, we're just kind of, you know, staying for as long as we can, and, you know, getting rid of any junk that we come across. It's kind of hard to do when it's just me. And, like, my aunt can kind of look through stuff, but she doesn't have the mobility to really go through any of that. So, but once we do get everything squared away, the next big question is, you know, moving. You know, where does she move to? Where do I move to? It's the other mess to deal with. For my aunt, the options for her is to go into housing, which, you know, low-income housing. That would put her closer to, like, my cousins, but, yeah. Plan B, the other option is to get, like, a mobile home on, like, its own land. So it's like a small house, yeah, easy to maintain on its own property. And the good thing about that option would be that I could, you know, continue living with her until I'm ready to move. So, because with low-income housing, it would be great for her, but then I would have to find a place to stay myself. So we're kind of, so there's that issue. But is now playing with one of his toys. Let's go to Shoptown and then do the Ender thing. So yeah, that's a bit of a worry because I'm not really sure where I would move to, and you know, I feel like I've exhausted all options at the moment. So just gonna bring it right over here to play with, isn't he? Or maybe not. He's afraid of the charger. He's afraid of the wires. He keeps tripping over all the charger cables and stuff, all the plugs and everything. So he's now afraid of them. But yeah, so a bit of an issue for me in terms of where. And on the upside, if I'm supposed to move to my own place, my aunt said that she will help pay for it, like help pay for the down payment or something like that, which would be great because that would be, you know, it'd be a lot off my back. But it's still gonna be, you know, I still gotta find a job that is more than what I've been making lately. So that way I can do more than just get by. And, stuff like that. So, but the biggest issue, coincidentally, is the issue with the one that's making all the racket right now. Because, in all honesty, as much as I like having a dog now, it's definitely was a bad decision that I don't feel like I should have done. Definitely from a financial standpoint, as well as like just trying to make a living. Because here's the thing. So I have a dog. If I want to get an apartment, I have to find an apartment that allows animals, and find an apartment that allows animals above, that doesn't have a weight restriction, and find one that's above a weight restriction, that doesn't have an aggressive breeds list, or if it does, it can't have German Shepherds on it. And then, yeah, there's just all the restrictions. You gotta find one that allows pets, allows dogs above a certain weight class, which, some apartments have, like, it's like 25 or 35 pound weight limit, which, Damien's well over 50 at this point. And then, along with that, it's probably got to be neutered, which is going to happen. It's just not old enough yet. But, another restriction. And then on top of all that, you have to pay a pet deposit, which is usually, like, right around the same amount that rent is. So you're going to pay, like, a security deposit, first month's rent, and then pet deposit. Just to get into an apartment. And then once you do get into an apartment, you pay rent plus pet fees. So you would think, so yeah, it would be expensive to have a dog on my own. I am in no financial shape to even consider a house, so that's not even a question. It's out of the question. And it would make things easier if I could stay with someone, but again, it has to be someone who likes dogs, who's not allergic to dogs, who my dog likes, and, pet deposit, rent plus pet fee, and all the restrictions with all that. So yeah, there's a lot to consider. And that kind of plays into probably one of my biggest issues of having a pet, which is not how expensive everything is, but how limiting it is. Because, like I've been talking about, wanting to go out, go for a drive or something. Like, I can take him with me in terms of going for a drive, but he will behave. If he doesn't like car rides, or if he gets car sick, then, I can't really take him with me. He'll probably have to stay home. In terms of, like, visiting someone, hanging out with somebody, my options are to take them with me, in which I can only do if the person I'm hanging out with is okay with dogs, and okay with my specific dog, and that my dog is okay with him. And of course, if the apartment allows dogs, and if they have roommates, have to clear with them as well. So the other option is to leave him home. And right now, he's not exactly at the age to where he's not exactly at the age where he would be okay all day on his own. And in terms of being fed and let out, that would be all on my aunt, who, like I said, has mobility issues and can't exactly keep up with him at all times. So, like, she's been able to like let him out of his crate and let him outside in the past, which is good. But like, she can't. I don't think she can't watch him all day because of a few issues. One being her mobility, so she physically can't keep up with him. Secondly, is that her dog hates hates him. She's got a poodle, and she absolutely hates him. So they can't really be together without her, growling and snapping at him. And he doesn't really do anything back unless she pushes it way too far for too long, and then he gets fed up. Like, he only put her in her place once, and she didn't learn anything from it. So, but she's like an older dog, and she's blind, so it's like you can't really be mad at her too much. But you would think at some point she would, get used to the fact that he's there. So, I don't know. But she doesn't like him. And then, outside of my room, uh, like, there's too much for my dog to get into outside of my room. Like, my room has everything off the floor, and the hallway's clear of everything, but that's been his favorite, like, bathroom spot in the house, so he hasn't exactly earned that privilege just yet. But in terms of the kitchen and the living room, and where my aunt sleeps, there's just too much stuff laying around, and while I could be the person who continuously, goes around the house to make sure everything is picked up, my aunt also would have to do the same thing. She kind of doesn't, which, her mobility issue is definitely one of the reasons why, but, like, if you pick everything up once, then maintaining it shouldn't be all that difficult, I would say. But, like, her mobility issue is that she's just, overweight and walks on crutches. And so she has, I think it's like her knees are bad. And she's actually trying to lose weight, which is good. But she just can't move all that fast and doesn't have a high range of motion. So anytime that something falls on the floor, it kind of ends up forgotten. So I can either, chase her around and continue to pick up after her constantly. But when I'm away is kind of the bigger problem, because at that point I can't pick up after anyone because I'm not there. So if anything falls on the floor, it's kind of free game for my dog to find and get into and eat and potentially get sick from. So he can't really be out in the rest of the house, especially while I'm away. And considering I spend the majority of my time in my room as is, it's kind of best for him to be here in the room as well, because that's where I can keep an eye on him. So yeah, option 2 is kind of not doable because of me being the only one who can keep up with him, and there being too much stuff in the house. And so if my aunt says that when he gets older and calms down more, she might be able to keep up with him better. But I don't know. He seems like he might be just a high energy dog, so that might not be a possibility. But yeah. So I guess option 3 would be to take him to a daycare kind of thing. And that's certainly doable. The only issue with that is it gets expensive. Like if I just want to, hang out with someone and stay the night or whatever, or if I want to go on a vacation, not only do I have to pay for the vacation itself, but I have to, pay however much for his daycare. Like when I went on my vacation in June, it cost me $5.95 a week, but that was more of a boarding school kind of thing than just a typical daycare. But I would assume that prices would be, around that. Yeah, maybe a little less than that, but you're still paying extra for, and I don't really trust asking around. I'm trying to figure out what he keeps getting into. He seems to be just playing with his toys, but he keeps making a ruckus. So, but yeah, and in terms of leaving him with a babysitter, it's just a trust thing, not to mention the coronavirus, so it's not exactly a viable option at the moment, and it'd have to be with someone I can trust, and the person that I can trust the most lives about an hour away, so there's a couple people that I could leave him with, but when it comes down to, like, if I just want to, like, hang out and stay the night somewhere, like, the best option would be to leave him home, but I would have to kind of do things in a way to give my aunt the least amount of stress or activity. That way she doesn't have to worry about him getting hurt or running away or whatever, ending up getting out of hand. And like, he's not a bad dog at all. Like, he's growing up really well, but he's still only 5 months old, So, yeah, with all that mess, it becomes limiting, and I'm, considering trying stuff with him where I go away for more than just an hour or so and see how he does, and my aunt can, like, let him outside while I'm gone, or I can put him in his crate while I'm gone, stuff like that. If I want to stay the night, though, I would have to leave in the afternoon at the earliest. My aunt would be responsible for feeding him dinner and putting him to bed, letting him outside at least once. So a lot of stuff there. But the biggest issue with having a dog for me is just moving, because like I said, with the apartment issue, is I'm limited on apartments, and it'll become more expensive because I have them. And you would think that in buying a dog, why are you up? Sit down, crazy. You would think that in buying a dog, I would have paid attention to all of these things, and I guess not, because like, I think what suckered me in was the YouTube videos I've been watching about people and their dogs and how well behaved they are and how much of a good time they have with their dogs, and so I was like, I want that kind of life, and so I got a dog, and then I realized, first it was the hassle of keeping up with a puppy, and now that he's grown older, the bigger issues is more of, where am I going to move to, and will I be able to make ends meet while I have him, and if my dreams come true and I end up in Hollywood, at that point I'm not going to have the time for a dog, so what that boils down to is the possibility of me having to give him away at some point, which would really suck, because, not only do you grow attached to him, but you also think of, like, I spent all this time and money, uh, you know, to get a dog just to give him away. I spent $1,200. I drove all the way down to just south of Philadelphia to get him. I spent all this money, taking him to the vet and getting him trained, and just not just the typical food and whatnot, but like all the training, all the vet stuff, all the money that I spent on a dog that I could have saved, or that could have spent like paying off debts or preparing for my next move or whatever. Instead, I got a dog, and on the one hand, that kind of went in a different direction than I intended. But that is kind of an issue that I have. It's like I should have been more responsible with my money, which is kind of the story of my life. The one of the two parts, me screwing myself over, and the rest of the world pushing my face into the dirt. But yeah, so, but the other issue is that I don't want people to think less of me because I spent all this effort trying to get a dog just to give him up, and to give him up for my own, I guess, selfish reasons. That maybe I should have put more planning into it, or maybe I should have tried better to keep him, or something like that. It's like, those are my worries. So, if I were to give him away, my top choice would be my cousin, who has 2 dogs already. The only issue is that I think the female dog probably wouldn't like him, but he's kind of going through some relationship issues, so if the female dog ends up with his wife, then maybe that would still work out. Other options would just be, asking other family members if they're willing to take him in. And then the next course of action would be to offer him up for adoption, which would be with anybody who already has a dog, because at least I would know that they're responsible owners and good owners, and so. But there's so much that I like kick myself over in doing this, so it's kind of sucks, because I don't want to be that guy that I don't know. I still want it to make it seem like that I wasted an opportunity, or didn't give Damien the life that I intended to, or whatever. But fact of the matter is, I probably got in over my head with this idea, and at some point I'm probably going to have to make a difficult decision. I'm not really sure when that will be, and what the repercussions will be of that. So yeah, that ended on a down note, didn't it? But something I felt like I had to get off my chest, I guess. But we'll clear out this part, which is good. I think I'm going to continue to focus on this section, because after this it's all of that, and which I'm probably going to focus over here and come this way, because this part is still way up there. I'll probably use the next round of TNT in this area, unless I want to just keep like bombarding this spot. But we'll see. So hope you guys have enjoyed watching. Let me know what you think I should do with the dog situation, if you have any ideas, have any tips, and I shall see you all next time.